My name is Ilias Tagkopoulos. I'm a professor of computer science in the Genome Center here in UC Davis. I'm also the PI of the AIFS grant and the director of the institute. So AIFS is an institute located here, headquartered here in UC Davis, but it is a collaboration between UC Davis, Illinois, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Cornell, and also ANR, which is the Agriculture and Natural Resources, and USDA. It is funded by USDA and NSF, and was on the first wave of the AI Institute that they have been. It's a $140 million per year initiative here in the United States, coming up with a few institutes per year, and now we are running the third year of the program. Okay, so let me start with a brief history of our food system, at least here in the US, but the same is also in Germany and Europe. We are on the third wave of our food system, the first one being in the 1800s and 1900s on industrialization and globalization. The second would be with the emergence of agrochemical, nutrients, and monocultures in 1930s and 50s. And nowadays, we are witnessing a third wave, a revolution coming because of AI, big data, precision agriculture. And you can see all the enablers here: sensors, devices, AI, data, connected global markets, consumer demand for personalization. We're becoming more demanding, and we are requiring more from our food and our suppliers. Global food safety and sustainability concerns. Now, we have a lot of barriers, the biggest ones being that we have an innovation gap. These are very different worlds that they're colliding: the world of food and agriculture, and the world of high-tech, AI, big data, and predictive analytics. And of course, there are very different levels, a lot of inequality. We have a lot of ground to cover in education and outreach, as well as creating the infrastructure to support everything I talked about. Regarding the fact sheet that where we are right now, it is actually pretty astonishing to see how many things we need to fix in 2022 and after. In terms of workforce, and this is US market, we have about 1% of the US population being farmers, which is a staggering difference from what it was 30 years ago, and roughly 1/3 of them being the age of 55 and above. About 1/3 to half of the higher agricultural force here lacks authorization. As you know, many here in the United States are Latinos, so they're coming from Southern America, and especially here in California, which is the basket of the rest of the United States. 60% of population production comes from 5% of large-scale family farms, so you have a lot of aggregation of that production. In terms of the environment, we have a lot of herbicide use the past 5 years. We have 10 to 20% increase. Agriculture is responsible for about 10% of total US greenhouse gas. And about 1/3 of the food supply is lost, so a lot of waste. Now, if you go to health, approximately 41% of US adults and over 20% of the adolescents are obese. Okay, something that it's not as bad as, it's worse than what we have in Europe, but definitely also in Europe the numbers are rising. 1 in 8 families in America are hungry, which is again something striking and something we definitely want to change. And worldwide we have 820 million people that go hungry. So based on that, and believing that we're on a precipice and ready for a disruption, a precipice of the perfect storm and ready for a disruption of the food system, we created AIFS, which has the mission to develop and leverage transformative AI for the ethical production and distribution of safe, sustainable, nutritious food with fewer resources. Now, our core values: social justice and service. We strive to build a healthier world by a better, more efficient and equitable food system. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, open to feedback. We want to be fair to everybody. We're not just doing it for luxury products or for those who can actually afford it. We want the food system to serve everyone. Collaboration. we want to collaborate, and this is one of the reasons we are here, right? And we are very, very glad to partner with Europe and other initiatives like that. And meritocracy. We want to fund and encourage and support the projects that have maximum impact in a transparent manner. Now, our approach, we see the food system as a continuum. So instead of going to one vertical and just staying there, we are looking at, okay, if we focus on plants, and we're focusing only on plants in AIFS, like what are the different verticals that we need to capture? So that's for us are molecular breeding, agricultural production, food processing and distribution, and nutrition. We definitely, these are the scientific clusters, but at the same time, we need to cover the people that are behind it. So workforce and socioeconomics behind those clusters. And AI, instead of being an enabler for micro projects, we see it as the connective tissue that brings all this together. It's the glue that we're having behind. This is how our vision was and how we constructed the clusters, the research clusters of the Institute. So we have these 6 clusters: molecular breeding, agricultural production, food processing and distribution, and nutrition, with 2 overarching clusters, the ethics and socioeconomics, and the user spider foundation artificial intelligence cluster. We have about 50 faculty and PIs, 5 staffers, permanent staffers, and 41 graduate students and postdoctoral fellows. And again, we are a collaboration of 6 institutes. The organization of AIFS, we have 3 advisory boards. There we have members from industry, academia, and national labs. We have an executive committee that consists of the AIFS research and institutional cluster leads, the office of director, which is my office, 6 research clusters, where we have the 4th vertical and 2 overarching, 6 institutional development clusters, business development, public engagement, etc. And then, of course, we have the 5 staffers that I talked about. In terms of our first year, this is the numbers you see here for our first year of operation in the Institute. We had 16 project funding, we gave up about $3 million, 6 thematic areas covered, multiple partnerships, and about $17 million of external research award earned. If you look at our projects, 16 projects again for year 1, which was exploratory. We are looking at, we're going to bet our heads our bets. We were looking at what are all the different verticals, micro projects here and there that we should actually fund, so we can then go in year 2 and focus on only 3 areas, and I can talk about the 3 areas later. So, but if you see now the projects, experimental reinforcement learning, data efficiency, statistical learning, food safety, ethics, yield sensing, forecasting, digital twin, performance-based engineering, water and nitrogen stress sensing. These are the other 8. Modeling leaf traits, multi-trait breedings, digital twin again on robotic production, and contact tracing, tomatoes processing, ultrasonic cleaning, prediction of glycan content, and health effects. So connecting the food with ingredients, with chemicals, and the health effects, so we can have the whole loop. Finally, in terms of broader impacts, again, because of our core values, we really believe on our social service, and we are trying to train our students, having other and postdoctoral fellows, graduate students and postdoctoral fellows, having educational modules, workshops, and seminars. And of course, with the pandemic, we are not very successful in that, but we will change that as we go further. And with that, I would like to thank you, and happy to answer any questions.